Ill Nation, what's going on with you guys, man? It's Kid Illish Truth in the building, and today we are looking at some of the double standards within the For Honor community, or the contradictions, whichever way you want to look at it. That's what we're looking at today. So I've highlighted a couple things, looking at both sides. You got the honorable players, you got the dishonorable players. We putting them both to the table. I'm being as objective as possible. So with that being said, you guys, try to take away any biases you may have when you watch this video. I know I'm going to say some things you probably don't agree with. I'm going to say some things you probably do agree with. So nonetheless, just try to take that away and look at the video for face value for what I'm saying, not so much of your personal stance, you know what I'm saying? So that being said, if you are new to the channel, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, man, let's go ahead and get into it, you guys. Within the For Honor community, there are rules set in place by the community for the community. And for less or worse, they have molded the gameplay dynamics of For Honor for its entire life cycle. And with this, it's created a divide amongst its dedicated player base. On one end of the spectrum, you have players who abide by these quote-unquote rules as they see fit at that particular time or moment. And many even go so far as to belittle or berate any player that doesn't follow their lead in the quest of honor. And on the other end of the spectrum, you have players who truly play this game as they see fit, with no form of code, rules, or regulations, leading many other players to refer to them as being toxic, which in my opinion is ridiculous and hilarious at the same time, but I digress. But as an objective content creator, I must take the opportunity to examine both sides of the divide and highlight a few of the contradictions, aka double standards, found within both arguments. So let's take this next few moments and explore these topics. Let's get to it. So before we begin, I have to make a few disclaimers. I made the mistake in my last illogical thinking episode and mostly stayed on the side of the quote-unquote honorless gamer. I did this because I play with honor myself, and as I continue my path on YouTube, I know that I have to be as objective as possible in my work. So I set out to create an argument in favor of a playstyle that I personally don't embrace, but I see the error in that today. In order to be fully objective, I have to create content which represents both arguments so both sides can feel equally invested in the discussion. So that's what you'll see here. For the sake of time, I will use one argument for each party, and we'll conclude with an observation that I've seen over the past few months in this game as it's made its way through Season 5. Starting off with the honor junkies, as I call us. I say us because I am too at heart an honor junkie. In my past video, I've explained why I believe the honor code in particular creates a false sense of entitlement amongst this community, and that video exploded into a full-blown discussion with both sides chiming in, as well as some guys seeing the actual point of the video and appreciating it for what it really was. But with that, many players discuss sledging in particular as this despicable act of toxicity and shallowness. But is it really? In all honesty, this community has put it in that light. The devs are now creating maps which favor true 1v1 combat, and that's great because we do need it, but at what point is it our responsibility as a community to watch where we place ourselves on the map? Now let me ask you this quick question. If player A ledges player B because player B whiffs a guard break near a cliff, is player A wrong for doing so? Player B clearly put themselves at a disadvantage and suffered the consequences in spades for doing so. To answer that question, many players will tell you that yes, player A is an asshole and a coward for ledging his opponent as a result of taking advantage of that given situation. Now let's get the same scenario and put it in another light. Let's say player A parries player B while player B was out of stamina, and player B falls to the ground and player A executes his full out of stamina punish mix-up. Is player A wrong for doing so? Most players will tell you no, of course he's not wrong because player B put themselves in that situation and should watch their stamina. Does that sound familiar at all to you guys? Now let's look into the no honor group, playing the game as they see fit. Many of these players will openly gank within a brawl match, even when their opponent clearly wanted to play in a pseudo 1v1 environment. Many of these players will state, if you want to play duel, go play duel, which is very correct. If you want to play duel, go play duel. Players have to realize that brawlers have the option to play either way, and it's stated very clearly in the game mode description. That much has to be acknowledged by the community. But let's take the real 2v2 crowd into Dominion. In Dominion, you'll see players form death balls, which is a complete 4-man gang squad which roams the map together, killing anything in sight and completely negating the objective of capturing and holding the capture points or flags. The same could be said in Tribute. As many of you guys know, the skirmish game mode is all but deserted. If many of these death ball players would take their own advice and play the game mode where pure 4v4 respawn killing is the objective, maybe skirmish wouldn't be so dead in the first place. Granted, there will be players who play both Dominion and Brawl objectively correct, but let's be very honest. We've all seen death balls, and we all know there's a divide between actual objective killing and ganking for the sake of the stats, even if the cost comes at losing the game. Speaking of stats, let's look into YouTube. Within this platform, you'll see countless For Honor YouTubers posting content of all sorts, but none have been more volatile than the very popular assault videos. These videos directly impact the community in a negative light. It showcases the toxic underbelly of online gaming, And while I do believe that every aspect of gaming should be examined, I don't believe that the negative aspects of this community, such as threats, racial insults, and outright bigotry, should be glorified. Creators such as ArchWizardCJ and Talon Diller come to mind as individuals who have the ability to separate glorifying these incidents versus examining different aspects of the game as well as the community, thus creating enjoyable yet insightful content through their commentary and banter. Sadly, many gamers within this community lack this trait. They have yet to show the ability to separate the two, resulting in viewers gravitating towards these videos in flocks. These videos have a place in the community as any other video, but in my honest opinion, these videos promote the very thing that honor junkies stand against the most: dishonor. In these videos, you'll see everything from racial slurs to keyboard warrior threats to actual personal attacks in some cases, all in the quest of getting views on an online video website. It's like content creators are fishing for players to become outlandish just so they can display it for the world to see. These videos remind me of the Jerry Springer Show. Players will record these actions and display them for the community to see and ridicule. It's less of a let's examine what's wrong with this particular player and more of a let's all look and laugh at their unacceptable actions. Keep in mind, I'm not talking about some shaman legend you at this point. I'm talking about actual hateful comments which shouldn't be said to anyone, period. That's why I compare it to the talk show, because the things that are shown aren't acceptable or right in any regard, but people watch it anyway in the guise of entertainment. I mean, I've seen these content creators actually use derogatory terms in their thumbnails for shock value. At this point, that's shame on the creator for promoting this level of content to their viewers and shame on the community for allowing it. So to see these videos gain so much popularity within this community, one has to ask the question, are players really looking for honor, or do they only want honor that favors them and will watch dishonor for entertainment? Because if the former were true, these videos wouldn't see the light of day, but they currently thrive. So I'll leave this up for discussion in the comment section. So there you guys have it, man. And like I said, man, this video is definitely up for discussion. The topics of this video are definitely up for discussion. Like you guys heard my words, I stand by them, but I want to hear your words. I want to read your comments, you guys. So with that being said, if you have a comment, go ahead, drop it. Let me know what you think about the topics. Let me know what you think, like your perspective, your thoughts, all that good stuff. If you haven't already, make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. As always, I look forward to seeing your comments and discussions. And also, they finally gave a brother a community tab, so be on the lookout for polls, updates, and whatnot. I'll use the community tab to post small discussion topics that I feel aren't big enough to warrant a complete video. And like I said, be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe if you're new. And once again, my name is illogical, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. Peace to the world, peace to the earth. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. We out, man. That's a wrap. Peace.